friends, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I will be building with the new Orchard Villa house skin that came in the new updates Premium Moonstone Bundle, using it in two different ways, both in the main valley and in Storybook Vale. I thought that this house was so beautiful and versatile that I just had to double the builds. Whether you want a small and cozy corner in your valley or a thriving winery in Mythopia, keep on watching for both builds. Starting off with the first build, this is going to be a smaller build in the corner of the peaceful meadow. So I actually double the houses, and you can do this by changing your house skin to the desired house and then placing an extra one down. A lot of these items come from Storybook Vale from the Scrooge shop, and so as you can see, these flagstone doormats and the trees, they come from that shop. I will also be adding in some casita walls, but I only use the end pieces because of the bricks, and then I add in some of those Alice in Wonderland bush trees. In the middle, I have an arch, which you can see it's actually from the Island Getaway bundle in the premium shop. I used that in the back, but then those statues right there, don't worry about it. I'm going to be swapping it for another statue. I also used some of those floral wheelbarrows that came from the fairy star path that just happened. And another premium shop item that is in there is the carriage, which comes from the Ariel bundle. In the back, I use some of those green oak trees to just frame the build, and then in the very center, I add in one of those cypress tree clusters that you can get if you have Storybook Vale. I add in some more of those smaller cypress trees just to kind of keep up the theme of the build. I swapped the middle piece for one of these Remy statues, which you can craft if you get enough of those raw irons, and I just kind of put them in front of the arches later on. And I also used one of these hedge mazes, and I used that mainly to separate the pathing into two and to just kind of give it that beautiful V shape. Off to the side over there, I will be adding some tables and some chairs. These tables and chairs that you see right now actually come with the house, and I do use them for the second build. However, for this one, I do swap them out for some different tables and chairs just to kind of give it a more stylized look. I like to add some of the marble fountains in the middle just because I think it just looks very regal and nice looking. It's just a stylistic choice. For the ground, I will be adding some plumeria leaves, and this is just to break up some of that solid green color with some more texture, and it just looks pretty. I go in with some more foliage in spots that I think need it, and so I will add some of that tall beach grass and another kind of bush as well. And I just start to add some more of those flowery bushes later on. And as you can see, this is where I start to change the tables. I think this came with the coffee shop that just came recently. I go back in and add some of these stone trees, which once again you can get from Storybook Vale Scrooge. And I also love this cello piece right here. It actually came with the lore keeper, and if you complete her puzzles, then you can get that cello. For some finishing touches, I add some of those apple boxes and some more crates and barrels and things like that just to kind of give it a lived-in feel. the hedge maze, I start to add some foliage there. You can already see it there, but that will be replaced soon enough. I add some butterfly flowers because some of the house skin has purple in it, and I just want to add some more purple motifs here and there. For the hedge maze, I will actually be using these stone fences, and you can craft these if you have Storybook Veil. The amount of times I've said Storybook Veil is honestly kind of frightening, but you know what I mean, right? So you can craft these, and I use the ones with the white roses, but there are other varieties, and I also pair it with some of those bushes that you get in Mythopia. These potted plants come with the villa, and I kind of just add them everywhere because they give that little pop of purple. For the second build, I will be using some cypress trees once again, and I use a bunch of those tree clusters, but I also add in some of the smaller ones. And then I use one of these villa houses and I put it at an angle because it honestly has no bad angle, but I really like the stairs in this one, so I kind of just put it at a slant. And then behind those and kind of next to those, I put some of those windmills, which are oddly enough found under trees. It's not a tree, but that's where it's found. For the pathing, I start to make my winding path, and I kind of just make it in that blocky texture first, but once it's all done, I will select it all and I'll change the shape so that it can become more smoother and not as rough. We are not exactly done with the path yet, but I will be fixing it later on. So for the actual crops per se, because this is a winery version, so I will be planting some grapes. So I will be planting grapes on either end of the pathing here. And what I like to do is I actually do 3 rows of actual crops and then 2 rows of pathing. And so you will just repeat that on the other side as I'm doing. On the outer rows, which is the first and the last row, I will be putting some grapes in there. For the middle row, I actually am going to be planting this like fairy rye, I think it's called. It's whichever plant is purple in color, once again, just to keep up some of that purple motif. And you can buy that from one of the goofy stalls in Storybook Veil. I'm just starting to add some filler decorations around the crops, so I will be adding some barrels. Some of them are tipped over, some of them are upright, and some boxes. I like to add some of these flower boxes that you can craft from your crafting station. And whatever seed bags and crops that I have in my inventory left, I actually just go ahead and add them for decoration, just to give it that sort of lived-in look. I once again use these casita wall end pieces, and I really just love the way the brick looks, and I think it complements the build's rustic look very nicely. I also just use some of the normal casita walls, and as you can see towards the sides, I actually add in some of these trellises that you can craft, and that is just to break up the texture. in the back where I already have some of the cypress trees, I add in some of these yellow trees, which are also native to Mythopia, and then I couldn't help myself, so I added some more oak trees like I did in the first build, because I kind of just wanted some more green in that area, which is already pretty yellow to me. So the pathing I changed to I think it's called the sun-baked or the earthy pathing, I forgot what it's called, but I start to layer in some of the garden stones that came from the Aladdin update, and I also like to pair these stones with the Dazzle Beach and the Sunlit Plateau rocks. And I've done this before if you watched my Sunlit Plateau cottagecore build video. I like to call this like the granola pathing, because it looks like granola. But anyway, I'm just gonna keep adding those on, basically making the rocks cover up any of the empty spaces that are there. And I also add in some more plumeria leaves, which I will extend to the rest of the build. I use a lot of filler decorations now, so a lot of those items are from Storybook Vale Scrooge, such as those stone trees, those stone pillars, and you'll see some more statues later on. I start to add some lights here and there just so that I can see which areas are lacking in light, and I just switch over to the evening real quick just to do that step. I add tables on both sides, and I kind of just wanted to give more of like the wine tasting countryside kind of feel, and so this time I'm actually using the tables and chairs that come with the house skin and just adding some more extra decorations, like some more of those light pillars and wheelbarrows, and eventually I'm going to be adding in a whole like musical ensemble with the cellos and the piano, and that'll be pretty much it. That is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed both versions of these builds. Definitely comment down below and let me know which one of the two is your favorite. If you liked the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye!